As a deer hunter, I want to know all I can about America's favorite big game animal. That's why I became a deer farmer. Without deer farms, we lose our greatest resource for research and whitetail management. With them, we gain more knowledge than ever before. Join me as we discover the truth about whitetails and meet those who work every day to preserve this great species for future generations. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. The weather is absolutely perfect this morning. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You know, Mexico is right over there. We are in Texas, South Texas, in the deep Texas brush country in Live Oak County, halfway between Freer and George West. And we're going to start out showing you some does today that we're going to start with feeding tortillas.
I'm Lynn Collard with the Gist Kinsman Ranch down here in George West, Texas. My job down here is to maintain this deer herd. I have my children and my wife with me, and they help me do everything we do on this ranch. It's a family deal down here. The Gist Kinsman Ranch is out here in the middle of nowhere between George West and Freer, Texas. When Doc bought this property deep down here in South Texas, he didn't have the deer that he thought he might have on this ranch. So he decided to get in the deer breeding business. And when he did that with the goal of enhancing his genetics on his property, which also brings the value of your property up on these ranches, which is a big thing nowadays. And it's just blossomed from there. We've done that, we've achieved that goal. Now we're in the field that we're breeding deer to bless other people with the same thing we've done on this property.
This is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the South Texas brush country, it is a sea of thorns. And living in the sea of thorns is a wonderful family that is taking care of the Gist Kinsman Deer Farm. And it is truly a family farm. All right now it is, well, it's the end of August right now. And these fawns are weaned. And how long does it take to wean a fawn? Well, by about 90 to 100 days, these fawns are weaned. So these guys right here, although some are big and some are not so big, what we're going to show you, they're all virtually the same age, and they're weaned. Come on up here. Now take a look at these guys, okay? From the time these were little babies, Caden, let me see one of those. By the time when these guys were all little babies, they stayed on their mothers and to get colostrum until they were about a day or two old. Okay, and once they were a day or two old, they got pulled into the deer barn, and they were bottle fed, and they were given treats as soon as they could start eating. And these treats are nothing more than just tortillas, and so the tortillas allow these girls to, well, they're getting a nice little treat, but they'll allow the owner of the deer to touch them and be with them and to be able to make sure that they're good and healthy. Okay, and to train them to be nice and calm. Now, some people wonder if these are bucks or does, and I'm going to let Lynn tell you what they are and why.
These are all doe fawns. Again, so we can keep these deer calm, so I can medicate them if need be, if they've got an issue. Buck fawns, I do not bottle feed. I do not want them real calm. Just for the simple fact is they've got antlers on, and that's not a good thing.
Yep, and take a look at this white one. What's the story on it?
This is a gladiator doe fawn. It was a shock to everybody out here. It's the first albino I've ever had. I got to keep a little sunscreen on her. We just love this deer to death.
Look at its ears. You can tell its ears are sunburned, folks. It's sunburned because it has no hair on it, pink skin. But out of how many deer have you had born since you've been a deer breeder, and that's the first white one you've had?
Oh, I couldn't even begin. Probably 2,000 fawns easy, if not more. First white fawn I've ever had.
That just shows you how rare they are. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by the North American Deer Farmers Association, New Dart, Newport Labs, the North American Deer Registry, Beam Fence Company, Shock Effect, GMS, Deer Guardian Misting Systems, Record Rack Deer Feeds, T3 Whitetails, and Dr. Ray Favero's Whitetail Genetics. It's going to be a nice lodge when it gets done for doggone sure. All right, this one comes to me from a Texan by the name of Anthony. He says, I'm getting into the deer farming industry and would like you to come out to my facility to advise me on purchasing deer, setting up my deer barn, and more. How do I go about doing this? Anthony, good question. I am a consultant, a wildlife consultant. If you would like me to come out to your place, all you need to do is shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help you. Whether you have a ranch or you want to get in the deer farming industry, I'll be happy to do that. Just shoot me an email. Our website will be coming across at the end of the show. Just get a hold of me, and I help people out, not just in Texas, all over the country. Thanks for the email. Down in South Texas, there are a lot of challenges due to the climate that the deer farmer faces. On today's program, we're going to be going over what some of those challenges are, how they grow big deer down here at Gist Kinsman Ranch. Don't you walk out of here. Howdy, I'm Keith. How you doing? Howdy. My name is Keith, and your number is 301. Hey, baby. Look at this. These girls right here are gentle. And the reason why they're gentle is because they have a special way they treat them when they're babies. We'll show you that here in a minute. But what we're gonna do now, hey, that's my cameraman, baby girl. We're gonna show you one way that these girls were treated when they were babies, and they're still treated this way now. And gentle deer are good deer. Look at this. Now these deer, hand me those tortillas, Caden. All right, come on out here. Hey girls, come on.
Come on, mama. Come on, girls.
Hey. Here.
Come on, girls. Here, you get it started, bud.
All right, Caden winds up. Caden's Lynn's son. He's his youngest son, and Caden winds up with his older brother and his mother. I mean, his dad. This is a family deer farm. They really run this for Doc Gist. And what happens? They've been down here for quite some time, and although these deer, they don't know me. They know Lynn and Caden and the family like crazy. But you'll notice how gentle they are. These deer are gentle because they're supposed to be gentle. Now, these guys, I mean, just like any like a dog, you know, a dog will wind up knowing its owner and know a stranger. Well, these deer know strangers, and some of them are kind of iffy around strangers. Come on, come on. Now you may be wondering, why in the world would you want gentle deer? Gentle deer, when deer are gentle, they're typically healthier. You can take a look at them if they're ill, if they look like they need to have medical treatment, you can take care of them. When you have gentle deer, they wind up, you have a higher success breeding them, and that's what it's all about. We're trying to make sure that they're healthy and that we breed them and have a high degree of success when we do breed them. I mentioned to you earlier that we have challenges, at every deer farm's got challenges, and one of the challenges that we have here is the soil, or lack of good soil. This is sand. I mean, take a look at this. And the problem with that is, I mean, it's very arid down here. We don't get a lot of moisture, and this sand, because it's so fine, a lot of times these deer will develop a cough, and that cough can get actually into pneumonia because these animals are ingesting that, they're breathing in that dust in their lungs. Oh, sweetheart. And so what we wind up doing is, by being able to come in and treat deer like this every day, you can listen, see if anybody's coughing, which they're not coughing, and make sure everybody's in good shape. But this is just one of the challenges that they have down here. Hey, tell me, do deer eat tortillas or what? Now, I've seen them eat cookies, and I treat mine with Record Rack golden deer nuggets, but I have never seen deer treated with tortillas.
My deer love tortillas.
One of the things that deer need to have, regardless of where they live, and especially down here where it gets hot, is shade. So every one of these pens is going to have a little cover like this to provide additional shade for the deer. Besides the shade, one thing that every deer pen has is one of these. It's a water trough. And you'll notice how clean this water is. I mean, it's beautiful. And the reason why is down here, I mean, these deer need to consume a lot of water. The more we've found as deer farmers, the more feed and water that you can get in the deer, the healthier they're going to be. Now, with the borders closed for bringing deer into the state of Texas, regardless of where they're from, you may wonder, how do they change the genetics up? And the answer is real simple. It's through artificial insemination. All right, we talk about deer, and this is Maxbow Danger right here. I mean, just take a look at him. He's an absolutely beautiful deer. This is the line that they are breeding right here at Gist Kinsman. And to show you what Danger can throw, this is a Danger yearling son named Redemption. I mean, he's a giant. But I want to show you, come on over here. We've got, well, we got a big old hog here, but that's a completely different story. This right here is Renegade. We showed you Renegade out in the pens. I mean, he's an old man now, but in his prime, he was one heck of a deer. And come on with me over here. This deer is Pentagon at 3 years old. This is his rack. He was over 300 inches. And all this is really the result of artificial insemination.
This is the barn we do all our AIing in right here. We move all the furniture out of here, bring these deer in a sterile environment, do the breeding, and then I take them out in the pen, and that's where they'll fawn.
Well, you know, people wind up thinking that we want these bucks gentle. We really don't want the bucks gentle like we do the does. And the reason why is because bucks can be dangerous if they're gentle. And these guys are hanging back just like they're supposed to be. So who do we have?
These deer here are Maxbow Danger sons. I've got yearlings. I've got a couple of 2-year-olds in here. And then I've got Pentagon. He's our pure Texas deer. Mm-hmm. He's coming 4. And then I have Renegade in here that is 14 and a half years old. That's what I have in this pen.
Hold on, I want to go back. I want to stop you here. Maxbow Danger. That is anybody in the deer industry. Those names are right there, just ding, 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 ding. Ring of success. That's a great bloodline. Which ones of these are out of that bloodline? Do they have a certain kind of tag?
They do. All the green tags in this pen are yearlings. Wow. And the 2 yellow tags in here are 2-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And I've got 1 purple tag that's a 2-year-old out of Maxbow Danger.
Okay, so all of them would be out of the Maxbow Danger. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everything in here, except for Pentagon and Renegade. That's the only 2 in this pen that are not.
Okay, and we talked about earlier about y'all kind of restructuring your genetic program, kind of where you're going, and the goal is to grow as big a typical deer as you can, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, now I want to take a look at big typical deer. Pentagon is the great big typical 4-year-old you said in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is he pure Texas?
He's pure Texas.
Wow, what a pretty
Texas
deer. And then, I mean, a lot of people may not be able to determine the age of a deer by looking at it. I want y'all to look out there real close. Look at those deer. There's one that should stand out as looking like the old man. Okay, tell them about the old man.
The old man kind of is weird looking this year, but he deserves that, I guess. He's always been a big 220, 230 inch deer for 9 years, 10 years. He's packed G1s that are 12 to 13 inches, except for this year. But he's just a monarch in my opinion. He's just a great deer.
And so that's an old deer, folks. I mean, take a look at him. A lot of people, like I said, they can't tell an old deer by looking at him. Well, look at that deer right there.
That's right.
Pretty clear. Right. That's an old one. And he's thrown a lot of big deer that have come on this farm right here, hasn't he?
That's true. That's true.
Gist Kinsman is down halfway, well, not halfway, but in between Freer and George West, Texas, about 2 hours south of San Antonio. It's in the brush country, and if somebody would like to come down here and take a look at your deer, give them a telephone number to reach you so they can schedule an appointment.
They could call me at area code 575-519-8458.
Any better time of year to come?
mainly in the month of August, if they want to see these bucks still with their horns on.
Yeah, because these right here, folks, so these are young deer for the most part, but they're out of that max bow danger line, and they are unbelievable good genetics, and they're going to put it on next year. Now, I really like that guy over there. I think I just turned his head. Ooh, that's a pretty deer.
That's
all
a
right, well,
32-year-old.
you know, we've shown you what what we've got in this pen, but I want to also go take a look and show everybody what y'all have got in your turnout pen. And you call it turnout pen, pasture deer, stalker deer. These deer to help other deer farmers as well as landowners help repopulate and rechange the genetics on their land. So let's go take a look at them now.
Let's go.
Now it's time for the Beam Fence Minute.
As a landowner, one of the things that a lot of guys have problems with is having a fence that's properly spliced together. I'm Mark Beam from Beam Fence Company. Let me show you how we splice wire together. Over the years, we've tried different ways of splicing wire together. We found out that the Nyco press crimp works the best for us. It's a little bit stronger, and it's also longer, so you only have to crimp down once versus the smaller crimps where you have to add more and more together. With this type of crimping system, one crimp does it all. People want to have a fence that's going to last a long time. This is one of the tools that we use to make sure that that happens. If you'd like to find out more about constructing a fence, go to our website at beamfence.com.
I never get tired of doing this, but you know what? We got to go show everybody the bucks. Now, the deer here, every deer farm really starts with good, solid doe lines. And these does come from an unbelievable line within our industry. And here at Gist Kinsman, they really wound up starting back over just recently with a new genetic line. And we're gonna go take a look at some bucks right now. But you girls have a good morning, okay? This particular area of South Texas is, well, it's very, very dry. The big mesquite trees are ancient, and there's a sea of thorns, nothing but rattlesnakes down here, ant piles, big bucks, and what's over there, about 100 miles, is the Texas coast. And so what happens, the moisture off that coast comes through here, and right now the wind is blowing like crazy. Got a bunch of thunderheads up there that later on in the afternoon, if it gets hot, hopefully they'll get a shower out of it. Genetics, let's talk about changing genetics up. You can purchase what we call pasture deer, stalker deer, turnout deer if you can, to change the genetics and do it instantly. But when you change the genetics in a deer pen, like they have with Max Bow Danger here, it takes a long time to see the results. Well, right now they have yearling bucks on the ground. You can see how good they are, and you know that the bloodline is there, so down the road, it can only get better. Okay. All right, so these guys in here, what you call turnout deer then?
That's correct. And what we do with these deer, if they don't make our breeding program for our breeders, we've got guys that come in and buy them, and they'll put them in their DMP pens or breeder pens. And then the other bucks that we don't sell that way, there'll be ranches that'll come in here that'll buy these bloodlines, turn them out on their ranches to enhance their genetics.
I think it's a real important part of the deer business that people need to understand that that we're growing these deer to help other people genetically.
That's correct.
Okay? The problem is trophy hunting is killed off the top end over and over and over for decades. And consequently, most people that have their land, they don't see big deer because the genetics are really shot out, the top genetics. And so what happens is all these turnout deer, what I call pasture deer or stalker deer, all these deer have got great bloodlines. I mean, we talk about Max Bow Danger. That's what y'all are building your program on. That's now. Correct. And you got Pentagon. You got these other deer that y'all have had a history of producing big deer. The genetics on these animals right here, although they may not be good enough to produce in your program because y'all have really raised the bar. They're good enough to produce in almost anybody else's program.
That's correct.
And so if somebody doesn't want to use one for a breeder, you can take them and you can buy them and put them out on your land, and what better way to improve the genetics?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so when they do that, do you deliver them?
We do. We deliver them. I load them in the trailer and I take them to them, and then we turn them out in the pasture and let them go.
Okay. Now, and folks, this is all legal? This is
all legal.
I mean, we get permits, and every deer's got, you can see out there, got an ear tag in its ear. Every deer is tracked, and it's, I mean, we get permits through the Parks and Wildlife Department in order to do this, and it really helps private landowners not just raise the value of their land because we've raised the quality of the wildlife, but have a better experience overall.
That's true.
Well, y'all have got some really good ones. Okay, if somebody wants information, give them a telephone number.
Area code 575-519-8458.
That is pretty cool. I like these turnout bucks. They may not be as big as what you're looking for, but they're big enough for I think what most people are looking for.
They are.
All right, that does it for today's show. And if y'all have any questions or comments, you can shoot me an email. All you need to do is just go to my website. I'm Keith Warren, and I'd like to thank you for watching Deer and Wildlife Stories.